I'll be back in a second.
The death toll there rising as the city begins to dig out. Mona Kosar Abdi is on the ground in Buffalo, where the airport and many roads set to reopen this morning. Good morning to you, Mona.
Good morning, Janae. All around the city, these dump trucks have been hauling snow off city streets and creating mountains of snow like the one you see behind me. Meanwhile, military and state police are out enforcing the driving ban, trying to keep drivers off the road so that these guys can work around the clock.
This morning, the death toll in western New York climbing to at least 32. Officials say that number is still expected to rise. And now, the massive cleanup is underway after the historic blizzard struck the region. The National Guard deploying some 100 military police officers to help enforce Buffalo's attempts to keep non-essential vehicles off the roads.
And this is potentially life-threatening situation, because if you get stuck and the ambulance can't respond, now they have to jump in the tracked vehicle, which drives a lot slower.
Buffalo's mayor hopes to lift the driving ban later today, telling us vehicles left on streets pose challenges.
We've got cars, abandoned cars, stranded all over the city, hampering the plowing efforts.
New video showing two men carrying 66-year-old Deborah Garcia to her daughter's home after her apartment lost power during the storm.
You see these young men? This is amazing.
Garcia's daughter calling the men heroes. This morning, we're learning the names of some of the victims tragically killed in the storm. Andell Taylor's family confirming with ABC News she filmed this video as she was trapped in her car, her family calling her the most kind-hearted and loving person. And William Clay's sister Sophia telling me he was a loved father and grandfather.
And temperatures are expected to rise in coming days, reaching the 50s, which would create a cycle of melting and freezing and pose a risk to roofs across the city. And today there's also a possibility of flooding.
Oh my goodness, Mona, and already just so tragic. Dozens of deaths and the number expected to climb. Mona, thank you for that update.
Well, hey there, GMA.
This is like, she heard cries for help during the deadly winter storm, and her action saved a life. And then we're going to talk about, of course, Southwest and what they've done so far. Their disastrous consequences for mankind and their, standard form of operations. Are you actually going to do a Yu-Gi-Oh! React? You mentioned the latest Fear End. Yes. It's one of the... I'm a little scared. I'm a little worried to do a Yu-Gi-Oh! React because, I don't think people understand. A lot of people aren't weebs, right? So they'll immediately say, no, I don't want you to watch that, or I don't want to watch that. But what they don't realize is, this is so much more than anime. It's just fucking hilarious to make fun of it. Because it's, really bad, but really bad in a really good way. Because sometimes content is really bad, and it's not fun to watch. This is the exact opposite. So, you would have less fun watching Yu-Gi-Oh! On your own than watching it with me, is what I'm saying. So it's one of those things where I do think it's pretty funny. And watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, please. No, I don't want to watch. I want to watch the original one. It's so stupid. It's so fucking bad. It's insane. It's like a fucking fever dream. You know what I mean? Community, in my opinion, when I watched Community on stream the first time, it's all right. The content is good, but there's not too much feedback I can add to this, right? So that's usually what I look for. I'm like, what can I add to the content? Because I'm reacting to it. I'm supposed to think about it as how can I improve on the entertainment that you are receiving here? With Yu-Gi-Oh! I can totally see it. Even though I'm a little scared that people are just going to say, oh, it's anime, fuck this shit. I can totally see people enjoying it, even if you don't enjoy anime at all, because I'm going to be shitting on it. And it's fucking hilarious. Will Yugi pull the cards he needs? Will he save his friends? What's this ancient Egypt magic? Find out on the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Potentially. And I've never watched it. So remember, I've never actually watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I only watched the first episode and it was insane. And when I saw the first episode, I was like, there's no shot. Like, I have to fucking watch this with the stream. Like, I was pausing it by myself. Anyway.
The worst of Mother Nature, bringing out the best of human nature. This is Buffalo resident Shakira Autry on Facebook Live.
I currently have an older 64-year-old white man in my house. I found him yesterday. I heard him screaming for help.
In the midst of Western New York's blizzard, Shakira spotted and heard the man in terrible pain in the frigid cold outside her house on the morning of Christmas Eve. Her boyfriend carried the man inside. That man is Joey White, seen in this picture at a Toronto Blue Jays baseball game.
He got away from his home that he lives in a group home, he told me.
Joey's sister says her brother is mentally challenged and does indeed live in a group home. He works at a movie theater and may have gotten scared during the blizzard and tried to walk home from the theater, getting lost in the heavy snow outside the mother of three's house. Shakira did her best to take care of him, to comfort him, feed him, and pleaded for help with phone calls and on Facebook Live.
This man is not about to die over here on 111.
The guy she rescued works at the local historic theater. They play all the new... Wait, what? Really? Are you fucking with me? They play all the new anime movies and have a Miyazaki Film Festival each year? Wait, really? Richest country in the world, by the way. This is one of those unique instances where it's like, I don't know how well you can get ready for this. You know what I mean? It's almost like it keeps catching motherfuckers by surprise because, like, climate change is a Chinese conspiracy, right? Like, so obviously there is, you know, there's an element of that. But also at the same time, like, what can you do when, like, emergency services can't even be out in the streets? You know what I mean? It's definitely a failure of infrastructure, but it's like potholes in Canada, right? Like, no matter how much money you spend, there's still going to be fucking potholes in Canada. Why? Because the weather conditions are dog shit. Like, you can try to fix it. No, potholes in, like, warmer climates or potholes in places like Los Angeles are completely and entirely unacceptable. Like, especially in LA. The fuck you mean? It rains like 3 days out of the entire year. You're gonna tell me no snow, rains 3 days out of the year, and we still got hella potholes? That's bullshit. But, like, I'm talking about like, Canadian roads are notoriously bad, right? Why? Because the fucking weather is awful. You can try to fix it by, you know, pumping a lot of funds into it. It's just interesting to think about because, like, it's partially because these are, you know, things that are outside of human control because it is a natural disaster. But also you expect your government to, like, take the adequate measures ahead of time to avoid this level of death and destruction. So, I mean, I know free market's not going to fix that shit. I know that. But also at the same time, like, I don't know. Every American will tell you that their state has the worst roads. People love bragging about being the worst. This shit for some reason. Also, they're wrong. Michigan has the worst roads. No tolls, truck traffic cutting through to Canada.
Y'all need to get this man some help.
But her neighborhood was virtually impassable. Christmas Eve became Christmas Day.
I mean, yeah, look at that shit, dude. What are you supposed to do? Like, emergency services can't operate under these conditions. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
Christmas Eve became Christmas Day. Joey was in immense pain with severe frostbite on his hands.
Joe, listen to Joe. How you feeling, Joe? Joe ready to go. He ready to go. He needs to go because he needs medical attention. He had a ring on his finger. I had to use these to cut the ring off of his finger. I'm not no surgeon.
With her 3 children by her side, Shakira tried to comfort Joey.
Joe? You feeling better? You trying to feel better?
That's so fucked up.
Pardon me? No, you're not gonna die. We not talking about death. See, this is how you know he needs help.
And that help was about to come. Good Samaritan showing up in a vehicle that could make it through the snow. Joey was on his way to the hospital,
I'm right here, Joe.
and Shakira rode with him.
Joe, see, I'm right here. You okay? I love you too, sweetie. You okay?
Joey arrived at the hospital safely.
What do you mean she had to cut his finger off? What the fuck are you talking about? She literally did the right thing. Bro, if you have frostbite and you have something that's also further restricting your fucking oh, she cut the ring off, not the finger? Well, really? How the fuck was she able to cut the ring off? I thought she cut his finger off. Sometimes you have to do that too. Yo, you need to chill? Wait, no. You will get a cold when the flow. You will get a cold when the flow starts again. GTI chatter says, I know I joke about my Volkswagen GTI being good in the snow, but for real, I haven't been able to get drive in 5 days. Grocery stores just open again today in some spots. It's insanity. Yeah, what happened, bro? I told you. I told you not to drive, and you were fucking flexing about how your Volkswagen GTI is able to fucking take you to the terrain like easy peasy. GTI chatter. Yeah, you don't want to be saved by me. I'll cut your fingers off.
64 years old, could have died outside. I wasn't letting that happen on my watch, and he wasn't going to die in front of my kids.
Joey has severe frostbite and is in the ICU in the hospital burn unit. His sister Yvonne telling us it's touch and go whether his hands can be saved.
Yeah, I was going to say, they might still have to fucking literally cut his hands off. You know that, right? Like, that's how
But
this
overall,
works.
he's in stable condition, and she is so grateful for Shakira Autry.
This woman did something that an angel would do, okay? To take in a perfectly stranger, you took him in your home on Christmas Eve.
Joey White's life was saved by a woman who cared deeply about a man she had never met.
Thank you. I'm right here. I'm right here.
But we began with...
And then there's a lighter version of the devastating events that we've been covering. Lighter versions such as Southwest